Good morning. How are you doing today? Assuming you said good, then that's good to hear. I'm doing good because today we are going to be talking about summer semi-annual sale. If you're new to my channel, then welcome. My name is Melissa and I used to be a part-time manager at a Bath & Body Works for 6 years, and now I'm here on YouTube making, of course, Bath & Body Works related content. So if that is something that interests you, then make sure you subscribe to my channel down below so you don't miss any of my future videos. For the first portion of this video, I'm going to be discussing kind of the ins and outs of how semi-annual sale usually works at Bath & Body Works and some things that you might want to keep in mind when shopping at the sale. And then towards the end of the video, I'm going to be answering some of your questions that you asked about semi-annual sale. I think Arthur was in my last semi-annual sale or maybe the last summer semi-annual sale, but he always seems to know when I'm filming this kind of video. He always comes over to say hi when I film summer semi-annual sale videos. He is my summer cat, so maybe that's why I think he's excited for summer semi-annual sale as well. Hi, you gonna help me? So if you are newer to shopping at Bath & Body Works, then what you need to know about semi-annual sale is that it is a biannual sale. It happens in June and right after Christmas every single year. And pretty much what it is it's the result of them clearancing items that they want to declutter. They want to make room on the sales floor and in their back rooms for the next season of product, so they have to declutter and get rid of all of their older product. These two times of the year, the semi-annual sales, are usually when the best prices are in the store besides the Try It to Believe It days during Christmas time. You often can find lots of 75% off items, but sometimes there will also be tables that have $3.95, $4.95 items, and then of course there's also some 50% off usually as well. This year it sounds like semi-annual sale is going to be a little bit on the earlier side, so they are going to be starting their floor sets in the end of May, so it sounds like they're going to be starting to put some semi-annual sale type products onto the floor May 26th and throughout the rest of May. I don't think that the semi-annual sale is officially going to start though until June 1st. I think that's when they're actually going to apply the price points of the clearance prices. And that makes sense because June 1st is a Saturday, and historically they usually start on Saturday morning bright and early. So that is when you should mark your calendars for the first day of the official start of semi-annual sale. So what kind of items are we going to see on sale at semi-annual sale, you might be wondering. I have talked about this in previous semi-annual sale prep videos, so I will make sure to leave a link up in the card section above if you want to see some previous ones. Even though they're for different seasons or different years, most of that information still applies. But I like to think of this as being 4 different brackets of products that you will see at the semi-annual sale. The first category of items that you will probably see on sale during semi-annual sale are the clearance items that consist of signature collection fragrances that are being discontinued, as well as the current season's items that are also being discontinued to make room for the new fall stuff. So because this is the summer semi-annual sale, we are thinking of them cleaning out their space to make room for fall products. So anything that you see on the sales floor right now that has something to do with Mother's Day, spring, summer, beach, tropical, all of that kind of stuff is most likely going to be some type of clearance on the sales floor, probably 50% off, if not 75% off. If you have never heard of the term signature collection, that pretty much just describes their bread and butter fragrances, the things that you usually see kept on the walls and the cabinets of the store. So things that are around almost all the time, things like Thousand Wishes, At the Beach, Gingham, Sweet Pea, Butterfly, Champagne Toast, those types of things. The things that are kept in the wall. These are the fragrances that aren't directly correlating to a holiday or a season. They're kind of their year-round fragrances, so to speak. Usually what will happen every semi-annual sale is they will pick maybe 1, 2, or 3 fragrances that they plan on discontinuing, or maybe just repackaging. Oftentimes we will see these fragrances come back again at some point, but there might be a gap for a while before you see them again. So they usually pick a few to discontinue and clearance during this time. So if you have a favorite fragrance that is one of their Bath & Body Works usuals or their staples, you may want to keep your eyes peeled and see if any of those go on clearance and stock up. The second category of clearance items that you may see at semi-annual sale is the boxed up items. So what they do to make room during these floor sets that they are bringing out new seasonal items is they have to box up whatever the previous season was if they don't plan on keeping it on the sales floor. So what they usually do to make room is they box up these products, they tape them, and then they usually send them off to their offsite or in the back room, and they store them until these clearance sales. So what you can assume these products are most likely going to be is things like from last Christmas, anything that was clearance from last semi-annual sale that didn't end up selling. You may see some of those types of items. You might see some fall stuff, although I predict that you might not see very much. At least I know my store was really selling fast of fall items because they are very highly coveted. So my guess is there's not going to be a whole lot of fall. Also, what happens is these were like the last chance items. So any of the box up items that don't sell this time that they bring out is going to turn turn into what we call MOS. Pretty much what it is they are removing it from their sale system. And what they do is they actually keep a big pile in their back room of the stuff they no longer can sell because it's done, it's old, it's irrelevant. And they host this big sale event for the employees to purchase. So it's pretty much like a fill a grab bag kind of situation where you can fill a bag and then you spend just $5 for as much as you can fit in your bag. So that is the story on boxed up items. I know sometimes you can find some treasures through the boxed up items, because what happens sometimes is if a customer returns an item that maybe was from a really long time ago or they purchased as an online exclusive, if they return it to the store and they deem that it's not going to be MOS or marked out of the system, what they will do is they'll end up boxing it up and bring it out for the clearance sale as well. So sometimes you can find some really random, some cool treasures during that time, but it doesn't happen that often, so you can't really bank on it. It's kind of more just for fun if you happen to find one of those types of items. And then the third type of clearance you may see at the semi-annual sale is what we call bought for sale. What bought for sale pretty much means is that it is a new collection coming out specifically for the semi-annual sale. It's kind of their way of being able to, in this case, get a new collection of summer items out while still being relevant to the semi-annual sale. So it sounds like at this moment for bought for sale, we're not going to be having any brand new fragrances, at least from what I've heard. I've only been hearing of some returning fragrances, but in new packaging. I'm hoping that that changes soon and that they do have some tricks up their sleeves with some new fragrances, but as it stands, it doesn't sound like it's going to be too exciting, at least in terms of brand new fragrances we've never smelt before. Sometimes what you may see at semi-annual sale, and what I consider the last category of things you might see, is brand new products that they're going to be using to take us into the next season and out of the semi-annual sale. So usually what happens is these products are not on clearance, but they are new fragrances that might be summer into fall fragrances, or they might even be straight up fall fragrances as well. So sometimes these can get you in trouble because this is what's the enticing, the most interesting fragrance, the new release that everybody is talking about, but they usually do not end up being on clearance. They're just kind of a new fragrance for the season. So don't let that trip you up. It's good to get excited and hyped for it, but you may not be finding those on the clearance prices. So before I answer some of your questions, I wanted to share a couple of my favorite semi-annual sale tips and tricks to make the most of your savings. Tip number 1 is to call your store sometime in advance and ask them if they are opening the store early on the first day of semi-annual sale, and if they are, at what time. So that way you can be prepared to be there right at open, if you're in the mood to treasure hunt, that is. 75% off items sell really fast, and so what ends up happening usually is by the first day, at least in my store, by the first day you will not see any home fragrance on 75% off. All the candles will be just completely wiped, oftentimes within the first 3 minutes of opening. So if you are someone that is really after candles specifically, but any 75% off goodies, if you have your heart set, go right at open. Tip number 2 is come prepared with any coupons and your app at the ready. If you are someone who receives paper coupons in the mail, oftentimes they send a pamphlet specifically with a semi-annual sale coupon, which is usually a $10 off a $40 purchase. I have not received one yet. I don't know if anyone else has received one yet. I haven't seen any pictures online, but it doesn't mean it's not going to happen. But what I have received is these summer ones right here. And these ones actually are applicable starting right away, and they expire on June 2nd. So that is the day after semi-annual sale supposedly starts. So I think I'm going to try and save these and use them on day 1 of semi-annual sale. I hope that works out for me, and I hope that works out for you as well. So this one includes a 20% off your entire purchase, a free body care gift for like a little travel size body care, as well as a $6 body lotion. If you have the $6 body lotion or something similar, like a price point of an item, that might be good for if you see one of the new released fragrances or one of the new packagings of a fragrance that is 50% off or higher, and you want to get it on a cheaper price. That might be what I use that for. So if you have coupons sent to your home, make sure you have those in your purse, have them in your bag, equipped and ready, and make sure that you are prepared and know exactly what you're doing. Read all of the exclusions, so that way when you go to checkout, especially if you're shopping on the first day and it's chaotic, that way you know how your coupons work, you've already done your research, and you know what to do. Before you hop in line, I promise you it'll be so much easier if you kind of have an idea of what you're going to use your coupons on and how you're going to use them for both you and the cashier. This next tip pertains to markdowns. So if you've never shopped a semi-annual sale, something that's interesting about these sales that sets them apart from other ones is that they are constantly doing almost weekly or sometimes even daily markdowns. So prices that used to be 50% off may switch to 75% off. Something that was $4.95 may end up going down to $3.95. So things are always changing in terms of price point. Usually things go from a higher price to a lower price and not the other way around. Usually, not always. It does happen sometimes, so you have to be careful. Very roughly, this happens about once a week, and it happens usually on a Sunday evening. After 1 week has passed of semi-annual sale, you may want to check in on Sunday evening and or Monday morning, because that is when they usually execute the markdown sales. By the way, if I didn't mention before, this sale usually lasts about a month or as long as supplies last. For me, in my store, it's usually about 3 weeks of really good clearances. By the time that the sale hits week 4 or even 5, if it reaches that long, usually the pickings are pretty slim and they only have maybe 1 or 2 tables left, and it's just kind of a bunch of 75% off stuff that nobody really wants, and it's just the abundance leftovers. So if you're really into it this year and you want to visit multiple times, I suggest trying Monday mornings if you can. Sometimes you can see them on Sunday evening right before close starting to organize product, and maybe you can kind of see or predict some of the things that they're shifting from table to table. But either way, Monday morning is usually when they make those new price sets. The last tip I want to share, and something to keep in mind, is price adjustments. So because they are changing prices so frequently during these semi-annual sales, it's important to keep your receipts. Bath & Body Works does have a policy. If you have purchased something at a higher price point and they have marked it down, like let's say you buy a bunch of 50% off, they mark it down to 75% off sometime within your 14-day grace period, you can actually take in your receipt to the store, give it to the cashier, and they will give you a price adjustment and they will give you a refund of the difference for those products. I've noticed when doing this myself that not every store is very well trained or well versed in this. I actually worked for many years at semi-annual sale without knowing that this was a policy, and it wasn't until a customer, maybe like on year 3 or 4 of working there, a customer came to me and told me about it, and I had to learn how to do it. And so I do recommend just being patient. If a cashier doesn't seem to be aware of this policy, just be really patient with them. All of the information about this should be online on their website. I think it's also on the back of the printed receipt as well. But either way, just be really patient and understanding with cashiers if they might seem a little bit confused about this 14-day policy, but do know that it is a thing. So make sure that you are watching your calendar, and before the 14 days is up, make sure to take in your receipt for any price adjustments. If you have purchased all of your items on 75% off, I can guarantee you that it will not be going any lower than that. Historically, there has never been a price lower than 75% off at Bath & Body Works. So if you're only shopping 75% off, you really don't need to worry about the price adjustments. Do also keep in mind you can only do this once. So let's say it goes from 50% off to $4.95. You get your price adjustment to $4.95, but then you see that they go 75% off in a couple days. You can't go and do it again. You can only do it once per receipt. With all those tips in mind, let's talk about fragrance for a little bit. So like I said, I haven't really seen any information about brand new fragrances. As you saw on the coupon pamphlet, we actually have some new summer fragrances that are already released, so they're not necessarily brand spanking new for semi-annual sale, but they may be a part of the clearance. My prediction is these are not going to be clearance right off the bat, but maybe towards the end they might put them on 50% off or something like that. But either way, my guess is when we kick off the semi-annual sale, these will still be a part of the buy 3 get 3 free or buy 3 get 1 or whatever that kind of usual full price sale is going to be. But on that note, we do have lots of returning fragrances, so let's talk about the ones that we know for sure. We have a couple of old retro fragrances that include Cucumber Melon. I heard Cucumber Melon is coming back. That is one of my favorite of the 90s fragrances. This is one of their favorite ones to bring back for their oldies. I think it's one of the most popular. This is one of their old 1990s fragrances, so very classic. Almost everyone has smelled this one if you are a 90s kid, but it has notes of cucumber, watery honeydew, summer cantaloupe, sparkling grapefruit, and cheerwood. It's a classic. I also got word they are bringing back freesia as well as cherry blossom, so a couple nice 90s florals. I think cherry blossom is actually a little bit more 2000s, not so much 90s. And then some fragrances that are more from the 2011, 2014 kind of timeline. We got Wild Madagascar Vanilla coming back. I know a lot of people have expressed to me that they wish that one would come back, so hopefully you're watching this and hopefully you know it's coming back so you can grab some. I also heard Tahiti Island Dream is coming back, so that's fun. I haven't smelt it in so long that it's hard for me to describe, so you'll just have to get to the sale and smell it for yourself, but it's a little bit tropical. It's like a coconut watery, citrusy, beachy kind of scent. Also, we have Paris Amour, which we haven't seen for a number of years. So I actually have my old employee binder here, or at least a pamphlet from it, and I wanted to read a little bit about Paris Amour if this is one that you're curious about. Even though Japanese Cherry Blossom is one that they have around all the time, I feel like this is more their modern take on Japanese cherry blossoms. So this one has notes of sparkling mandarin, petite strawberry, cassis, sparkling champagne, apple blossom, and dewy freesia. Those are just the top notes. So we've got mid notes of luscious peach, jasmine petals, French tulips, water lily, and frangipani. Base notes or dry notes are French vanilla, coconut milk, amber wood, sandalwood, and creamy musk. I find that this one is actually heavy and most prominent of the mid notes. I feel like it's a little bit tulipy, but it's a little bit powdery as well, kind of maybe from that coconut milk. So it'll be fun to see that floral come back among some others. Some other things that are coming back, we've got a bought for sale collection. So remember, bought for sale is new for semi-annual sale. What isn't new about this is the fragrances themselves, but we've got a new packaging collection, and in it includes some of my favorite scents. There have been some little whisperings and a little bit of teasing on the packaging of this one. So the collection is called Block Party, and I don't know, I think a lot of people don't like the packaging. I think it's equal parts ugly to cute. I love the color schemes that they chose for the fragrances. I really love pops of color, and I do really enjoy a fun color contrasting color pairings like they've done. So I think the complaint is that it just looks a little bit on the cheap side, something like you would get from Walmart packaging in body care. It's just a little bit on the primitive and too simplistic. They took it a little too far. So there's pros and cons. I like it, but I also hate it at the same time, if you know what I mean. But either way, the fragrances are fun. I do enjoy all of the fragrances that are going to be a part of this. One of them is Watermelon Lemonade, which is good. I have a lotion, but I need some spray and shower gel of it to go with one of my lotions. That's the other thing, is take inventory before you go to the sale. So that way you can complete sets of things that you have missing, and that way you know what you already have so you don't overbuy. But either way, I'm happy to see Watermelon Lemonade come back. It has notes of watermelon ice, sparkling water, and sugared lemon. You would think that their watermelon scents are quite similar, and of course they all have that common connection of being like artificial watermelon candy, and that is true. I find that this one is the most candy-like of the watermelon scents that they've released in the past 3 or 4 years. They've had watermelon mint, which had a little bit more of an aquatic vibe to it. They've had groovy watermelon, which was the same as I think the pink watermelon blast, and that one was a little bit more citrusy of a watermelon. But this one to me smells kind of like watermelon Airheads. It almost has like a bitter sour watermelon rind scent to it on my skin that is really enjoyable and fun. So that one's coming back. Also in the Block Party collection, we've got Coconut Milkshake coming back. I know a lot of people were sad that they missed out on this one last time. So this is your chance for redemption on being able to try this fragrance. It's very similar to the Coconut Cocoa Shea, but a little bit more sweet and ice cream-like. It has notes of vanilla ice cream, toasted coconut, and sugared amber. Fruity Sherbet Scoop is confirmed to be coming back in this Block Party collection. And this one to me, on when I'm just smelling it right out of the bottle or on a card, smells very close to Strawberry Soda, which is the other one that's coming back in this collection. And this one is my favorite scent, one of my favorite summer scents of all time. But the Fruity Sherbet Scoop has a little bit more of like an orange creamsicle scent once it's sitting on my skin for a while, but at first impression it was very Strawberry Soda-like. It has notes of rainbow sherbet, zesty orange, and sun-kissed strawberry. And then, like I said, Strawberry Soda, one of my favorites. It has fresh strawberries, bubbly seltzer, and crushed ice. You can plan on seeing that one at SAS as well. Another collection that will be a part of the semi-annual sale bought for sale is this cloudy themed collection. We have Cloud 9, which we saw kind of recently, as well as Confetti Daydream, which is one that we haven't seen in quite a while. We've had Daydream and Confetti Daydream. I think they actually ended up being the same scent, but either way, if it's the one I'm thinking of, it kind of has like a bitter pear scent to it, paired with kind of a daisy-like floral. So I'm filming this quite early. I'm sure that there will be a time in which I will post this and more information will already have come out. So hopefully we can keep each other in the loop and we can talk about it in the comment section about what we learn about what's to come for this semi-annual sale. But I wanted to wrap up this video with answering a couple of your questions. So let's start. All right, the first question says, do you have any idea on what they decide gets marked down to 75%, specifically the candles? So yes, I do kind of know that when I used to work there, usually what ended up being right off the bat, 75% off was just whatever candles didn't sell from last semi-annual sale. And what often happens is stores will receive an abundance of a fragrance or 2 fragrances, maybe from the previous candle day, where they just for some reason got way too much. I remember there was this one year they sent us just way too much of the winter candle and champagne toast, and so we ended up just clearancing a whole bunch of it. It happened again another time with winter and frosted cranberry. So if you are keeping a close eye throughout the year of what candles your store has in stock, anytime you see something that just looks way out of proportion, like they have too much of it, it just never seems to go away, you can probably assume that those are going to end up being 75% off. If your store has any leftover box up of last fall's candles, Halloween, or Christmas, but mainly fall or Halloween, those could be 75% off this year, if they have any left, that is. How likely is it that body care will sell out at 50% off before it goes to 75% off? That is a great question, and it's something that will vary from store to store. So I am in a college town, so I actually have quite an advantage to semi-annual sale because most of our traffic actually ends up leaving for summer break and winter break. So I find that I don't have as competitive of a situation as most people might in their stores. So for me, I usually can take that risk and wait for it to go 75% off and not purchase anything at 50% off. This will require you to know the trend of your store a little bit more. If you in the past have gone shopping for something and they ended up being sold out, like say fall time you wanted some pumpkin pecan waffles and it was mid-October and they were already sold out, then chances are if you are after a specific scent, you're going to need to buy it at 50% off while they still have it. I know that's kind of a vague answer, but I hope that helps, and just understand it's very circumstantial to your store. I know for me personally, I have never been worried about it because of my store situation. I always buy and wait for 75% off, and I never buy anything at 50% off because I am able to do that because my stock is very high and competition's quite low. That is definitely not the case for every store. I know there are some stores that sell out right away at 75% off on day one, and that's all the 75 they'll get. I highly recommend if you're just completely unsure of what the trend of your store is to maybe just go right at open on day one, grab as many 75% off goodies that your heart desires, and maybe just kind of eyeball the tables. And if there is a scent or two that you're really after, if you see like 2 full bins of it, then you're probably going to be okay with waiting for it to go 75% off. I also already kind of mentioned the answer in this one, but is there a certain day of the week that they do markdowns and move stuff to 75% off? I said at least in my store, it's usually on Sunday evening they kind of do a floor set after close, so Monday morning you may want to check your stores for markdowns. Is laundry care included in semi-annual sale? This was a tricky one because my store actually doesn't have any laundry care in stores. If there's summer-specific fragrances, they may end up clearancing them. Online, they probably will have some sales on the laundry care, so I would think that online probably, in stores, I don't know, because in my experience, my store just doesn't have any at all. So don't bank on it, but maybe check online. How long does semi-annual sale last? That is a great question. It usually lasts about 4 weeks. If your store is low on clearance stock, it will last maybe more like 2 to 3 weeks. If your store has a lot of clearance and it's just not moving through very fast, then maybe 4 to 5 weeks. But usually 4 is what you can count on. Will they be bringing back the original Coco Shea line? Never say never, but I have not heard any news of that one coming back. Right now, they actually have a few of the hyaluronic acid and the coconut Coco Shea, as well as the oatmeal stuff. That's the closest thing they have in stores right now. I don't know if it's going clearance for semi-annual sale or not at this point, but it is available for purchase, that coconut Coco Shea. Will the signature collection scents that they carry year-round be included in the 50 or 75% off, or is it just the new Sass scents? Yes, so I kind of mentioned that earlier. What will end up happening is they usually pick a couple of their signature collection fragrances and discontinue them. They do this for 2 reasons. Either they are planning on repackaging it and you will see it come back some other time in the year, so they will clearance the old packaging, or they plan on discontinuing the scent for a while because a new fragrance that they have coming out might kind of interfere or undermine it if they're kind of similar. Fragrances I would not stress out about. There's a few fragrances I would not stress out about if it's your favorite and you're worried about it discontinuing forever, and that would be Japanese cherry blossom, champagne toast, strawberry pound cake, goodness, what else? In the Stars, like those fragrances, I think that they are here to stay for a very long time. Oh, Sweet Pea is another one. If I just listed one of your favorites and you see it on clearance, just know it's probably going to be repackaged and brought out in some other bottle later. I would love to hear your predictions on which previous products will end up at Sass. So we kind of talked about the things that we do know already. I do have a couple of predictions and I've pulled them aside over here. I could be completely missing the mark on this one, so don't take me too serious if this ends up not being the case. But what I think is that eventually we will see Calypso Clementine be clearance. This came out, I think it was January or February of this spring. So this one has Juicy Clementine, Neroli Nectar, and Coastal Woods. I don't think that this one performed as well as they anticipated it would. And usually for their single launch fragrances that are seasonal, but just the one fragrance at a time as opposed to being a big collection, usually these don't last longer than a year. So I think maybe this will end up clearance. We'll see. I predict that Meet Me in Miami might go on clearance just because it is kind of a summer-themed fragrance and it's been around for about half a year now already. This one was released winter of 2023, so last year for a Body Care Day exclusive, and I'm kind of surprised it's been around for a while, so I predict that this one will be on the chopping block. But I think that this one we might end up seeing in the red bins at some point this semi-annual sale. This one specifically is the Water Lily Spring. I didn't invest too much of my time or thoughts on this one, but I think this one could go 50% off in the beginning and maybe marked down to even lower later. We'll see. Another thing that I think could be on the chopping block as well is this Valentine's Day themed collection that they released around, of course, Valentine's Day. And this one was the Sweetheart Cherry. They also had Strawberry Pound Cake as well as Iced Lemon Pound Cake in this collection. I think that all items relating to this collection as well as lip care may be on clearance tables. I'm kind of hoping these ones are on clearance because it'd be nice for the gourmand lovers to be able to grab a couple of these at a clearance price. So we'll just have to see. There's a couple other fragrances in the Signature collection that I feel like time could be ticking for them, and I'm not sure if it'll be this semi-annual sale or just maybe a later one, but Tropidelic, I feel like there is a chance that that one may go clearance eventually, as well as Chasing Fireflies. That one was a single launch fragrance last summer into fall, and that one has been out for a year, so my guess is maybe they will discontinue that one at some point and make room for a new fall fragrance, but like I said, these are all just guesses. We don't really know for sure. We'll just have to wait and see. Will the Block Party Gourmand body care items start at 50% off? And is Berry Waffle Cone coming back? So to address the Berry Waffle Cone, I think that one is going to be an online exclusive, but not in stores. Not 100% sure on that, but that's what I've been hearing as rumor. And then as for a price point for bought for sale, usually they start at 50% off, and then maybe by week 2 or 3, they will move them down to $3.95 or $4.95, maybe even 75% off during the last week of the clearance sale. So fingers crossed that you can get some at the 75% off, but don't count on it. I think 50% is probably where it will start. Someone wants to know if any of the aromatherapy is going to be a part of the semi-annual sale clearance, and I don't know 100% at this point, but my guess is if they clearance any of the aromatherapies, it would include the Rainfall Retreat collection with the Cucumber Cedarwood, and then there was another one, the Himalayan Oasis Lime Vetiver. I feel like those two fragrances are probably on the chopping block and potentially going to be clearance this time. As for the classics like Orange Ginger, Lavender Vanilla, and Eucalyptus Spearmint, if those ones end up being clearance, it just would mean that they are being repackaged, not necessarily straight up discontinued. Next question. Usually they have last year's fall for the next summer semi-annual sale. Do you think they will have it this year? I have kind of addressed this slightly with the fall products. For my store specifically, I don't predict that I'm going to be seeing very much of last year's fall in it, because by the time I went to look for clearance fall products when they were getting ready to put out the Christmas stuff, all of the fall stuff was pretty wiped out. So in my store specifically, they ran out of fall pretty fast. I don't know what your store is looking like, but if it was looking kind of dwindled down, there is a strong chance you will not be seeing fall at this summer semi-annual sale. But fingers crossed that we do find some, because I do love a good fall treasure hunt. I do also think that I was seeing some MOS sale hauls from people who work at Bath & Body Works, and they were showing that last year's fall stuff was already a part of their MOS. So I think that we are probably done with all of the fall from last year, and we probably won't be seeing any. That's my guess. I stock up on hand soap during semi-annual sale. Do you have any tips on when the best deals are to be had? I haven't heard any timelines of what kinds of sales are going to be happening when during the semi-annual sale, but I think the best thing you can do is, if you're looking for the cheapest soaps possible, is to hit up your 75% off tables. The next best deal is if they go $2.95 or somewhere in the $3 range. So 50% off is okay, but I would wait for them to go $3 a piece or try and find them on the 75% off. Do you predict that Beach Nights will ever return to SAS? I predict that it will not be coming back to SAS anytime soon, because it actually came back not too long ago. I know that that one was kind of a coveted, highly talked about and anticipated fragrance, so I think that they are going to keep that one in their back pocket and kind of keep it away from us for a while to get us wishing it would come back again. So I don't think that one's coming back anytime soon, but I could be wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong, because I do love that scent, but I think that they're going to push that one off for quite a while. In your opinion, besides first and last day, when are the best days to shop the semi-annual sale? I have a similar answer to a different question, but I would say Monday morning, because on Sunday evening, that's often when they do the markdowns. Okay, those are all the questions I'm going to address today. If you have any other questions or discussions that you want to have about this upcoming semi-annual sale, I'll do my best to keep up with answering questions in that comment section, and I'm sure other people can help discuss and answer if they know the answer as well. So jump in that comment section and let's get some conversation started. What are you most excited about the semi-annual sale? I think for me, I am ironically most excited to get some watermelon lemonade in my hands for body care, but let me know what you're anticipating the most, and I will see you in my next video. Until next time, bye!